How's it going, everybody? Bones98 here, doing a little bit of a tutorial, or I would say a what you would need to compete in IDPA video. Now, a lot of times I would invite my friends over, and I kind of get sick and tired of having to talk to them over the phone. So from now on, I'm going to be using this video and sending it out to them so that way they know what they're going to need when they're competing IDPA with me. And this will be especially important for you guys who are first starting out or going to begin competing in the IDPA world. Now, for those of you who don't know what IDPA is the International Defensive Pistol Association. International Defensive Pistol Association, that's right. And what we do is it is an organization that offers shooting competitions for people who are interested in learning more practical or pragmatic means of self-defense with a firearm. Yeah. So what it essentially is they put you up in different stages and different courses of self-defense scenarios, and you are basically being scored on your time, and you're also being scored on your accuracy. Now, today we're just going to talk about gear and what you would need for your first day when you're out there. Now, let's start off with the basics here. First of all, you're going to need a first aid. No matter where you go, I recommend carrying a first aid when you're over at the range. Accidents do happen. Doesn't mean it won't happen to you, or that it will happen to you, but it can also happen to somebody else. So take a first aid kit with you. Second, make sure you stock up on beverages, snacks, and foods, because you're looking at spending about 4 to even 8 hours at the competition. So make sure you bring some food. I didn't really want to bring a cooler and Tupperware with me because then that would just take too much space on my bed. But this is just to give you an example. I usually have some type of water, some cookies, popcorn, sandwiches, basics, and even a sandwich. Cold cut sandwich is always good to have, especially if you haven't ate breakfast and you want to eat in between stages. You can do that as well, but I would recommend having a breakfast and being well rested, because I just noticed that if you do not eat well and if you do not sleep well, you will not perform well for your competition. But don't worry about impressing people or trying to impress yourself. Just go in there, get your feet wet, take your time. Remember, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That's one of the things we say over there. So now that you got your food, let's move on to things that you would need, because you're going to be outdoors pretty much the entire day. So you would need a hat. You don't have to wear a hat, but I would recommend doing so. That way you can block off the sun hitting your face. And then you would need some sunscreen. And then in regards to other types of forms of, protective gear and whatnot, is we want to make sure that we have some type of hearing protection and that we also have some eye protection. Now, you can use one of these pieces of eye pro, which are just basically, transparent type of lens over there. You can also use sunglasses. There's really no requirement. And then we move on to other gear. We want to make sure that the essential that we have is some type of mag loader. You are going to be loading mags like a mofo in between courses. So be prepared to either, have your fingers blistered up from loading up mags, or you can save yourself some time and a little bit of a thumb ache by having an Aplula mag loader. Now, why do I have a flashlight here? Well, the reason why I have the flashlight here is because flashlights are they are very useful when it comes to doing IDPA competitions out in the night. Yes, there are IDPA courses that are conducted at nighttime, and you can either use a tack light, that's attached to your firearm, or you can have a flashlight and use that in conjunction with your firearm. Then we move on to holsters. Okay, pretty basic. You just want a double mag pouch. You don't really need anything fancy schmancy. And then just a holster. You can use leather. You can use Kydex. The Serpa holsters are also really good. Uncle Mike's reflex holsters, they're also incredibly good. especially for you guys out there who are the type of runners. If you're going through stages and you want to go through them quick, you want to make sure that you have some type of holster that has a retention device or mechanism to it. Now, fortunately, this holster fits really snug on my 1911. I don't really need a Serpa or Uncle Mike's reflex holster. Now let's move on to belts. Belts, you can actually use a rig, like a rig belt, or you can use something really simple and cost effective, and this is the Uncle Mike's trainer belt. 511 also offers these. I have a 511 version of this. Cost me about 40 bucks, but you can get an Uncle Mike's belt for about $24 on Amazon or at your local gun store. Sun protection. You're going to be out in the sun, so make sure that you have some type of sun protection. Now, let's move on to other stuff. The goodies, firearms. So you want to make sure that you have a firearm. The minimum caliber on the firearm is a 38. Okay? You can't go in there with a 22. So you can have a 38, 357. Those are good, but no 22s. They don't allow 22s. Which kind of stinks because they're very cost effective. And then you want to make sure you have 4 magazines. So you're going to have 1 magazine fully loaded into the mag well here. Right? Then you're going to have 3 extra mags. So these will go into your pouch. This one will go into your back pocket. Why? Well, when they ask you to load to division capacity, what you want to do is you want to use this magazine right here. Load it up into the mag well. Chamber around. Take the magazine out. And then insert a fresh mag. After you insert the fresh mag, the other 2 fully loaded mags will go into your mag pouch. Meanwhile, the one that you use to put in, the 8+1 or 10+1 configuration, you want to keep that in your back pocket. It's also especially useful if you're doing a lot of makeup shots. You probably have an extra 6 or 8 rounds that you can use. But I highly doubt that you'll be using 3 mags worth or more than 3 mags worth in a stage. So really all you need is 3, but I suggest getting 4 just so that it makes the loading to division capacity thing a lot more easier. Now second, well actually it wouldn't be second, but I would say another thing that you would need is you would need a range bag. Something that's very sturdy, can hold a lot of weight, can hold ammo. As a matter of fact, this range bag I use, this is for my 3-gun competitions. That's why the shotgun shells here, my AR mag pouch, my shotgun pouch, shotgun shell pouch, and then my pistol rounds, and then I also have my rifle rounds over here. This is the Field Line range bag. It's very comprehensive, very neat. It's easy to organize things into. I usually load up my pistol right here and the mags right there. And then what you also want for the range is when you're done for the day, you want to make sure that your gun is clean, especially with me being a 1911 snob and making sure that my gun looks nice and pretty. I always clean it after the range. Actually, that's a fucking lie. There are times where I put 1,000 rounds through this baby, haven't cleaned it for months, take it out to a competition, shoot another 200 to 300 rounds with no failures. So that whole stigma about 1911s being finicky because you don't clean them often, that's just a bunch of bullshit. Well, that's if you have that will only happen if you have a shitty 1911. But I have a Sig Sauer Nitron, never had any issues with it. It's a fantastic pistol. I got what I paid for. And I paid about $1,000 for that damn gun. Now you also want to have some cleaning supplies. So okay, we were talking about cleaning supplies. So here we are. Brushes, making sure you got your rods, your little cleaning tools right there. Also a set of gloves. So in case you guys don't like having a bunch of solvent or lube on your hands, nitrile gloves, very handy. And then lube and some CLP. Now, don't worry about not having all of this stuff for your trip at the IDPA competition. As a matter of fact, a lot of us guys already have this stuff, and we're not really stingy. We're not really crazy about our stuff, being loaned out or being borrowed by any of the people who are competing with us. As a matter of fact, if you happen to need anything, and if you happen to stumble upon me, I compete in the Southern California area, I am not stingy with my stuff. I will be more than happy to lend you whatever I have. As a matter of fact, which is why I actually have an extra pair of ear protection. So if some guy forgot their ear pro, I go ahead and just use these, and I'll hand whoever needs anything this pair of electronic ear protection. Last but not least, this is basically the integral part when it comes to the IDPA competition. You're going to need a cover garment. Now, some examples of that could be a jacket, or it could be a vest like this one right here. Now, this I bought over at Bass Pro Shop. This is a Columbia, I don't know, fishing vest or whatever. You can use these, and this is actually a very popular one. I've seen a couple of guys over at my local matches use this one. I didn't notice until I bought it. It's kind of funny. You only notice, people have the same thing when you buy them, but before you do, you don't really care. Never really notice that someone had a particular item. Same thing with cars. Anyway, so you can use a cover garment, and an example of the cover garment would be a little fishing vest. If you don't have a fishing vest, you can also use a baggy shirt. As a matter of fact, you probably don't even need to have some type of cover garment like a jacket, long sleeve button-up shirt, to cover your firearm. You can actually carry a gun inside your waist and just use your normal clothing for the competition. So you can wear your jeans, you can wear a t-shirt, and have the t-shirt cover your firearm that's inside in the waistband holster, and not need to have a cover garment. But for the sake of the sport, I guess a lot of the guys, they use a fishing vest, which is really funny. Seeing a bunch of guys walking around with fishing vests. But you could also just be the guy who comes in casually wearing a t-shirt and jeans and has a gun put into their waistband. Now, I don't know if I can pull it off with the 1911. I do carry this gun for concealed carry, but I have a long coat covering this thing when I'm wearing it outside the waistband. But you can use a subcompact firearm or a compact firearm like my Glock 19 right here. By the way, that gun is loaded. And that one I actually carry inside the waistband, and I compete with this thing inside the waistband. Well, that pretty much concludes my video on what you're going to need for the IDPA competition. Oh, wait. By the way, I totally forgot. You need some ammunition. So before we end this video, I just want to give you kind of an estimate in regards to how much ammunition you're going to need. Right here in the side pouch, this is for my 3-gun. So if you notice, I got rifle rounds, I got shotgun rounds, I got pistol rounds. I typically carry about 200 rounds or 200 to 300 rounds of each type of ammunition. So I recommend coming into the IDPA competition with, I would say, at most 250 rounds and at least 200 rounds. But chances are you'll most likely just end up expending about 150 to 170 rounds per competition. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you around.